I'm going to read 2 Psalms to you today. I'm going to begin with a psalm, and I'm going to end with a psalm. And I'll tell you why. Because I believe, and I've come to believe, that this life of ours, yours and mine, is a long, long journey. And that's what I'm going to talk about this morning. So I'm going to begin by reading a psalm to you, which actually, it's always good, isn't it, when somebody says, I'm going to read something to you, but they tell you what it's about before they read it. It's Psalm 84. Then I'm going to finish with another psalm. And Psalm 84 will highlight for you this morning God's presence is deeply desirable for every single person. It will also point out that longing for God is healthy. It is not weakness, it's strength. Blessing flows from where? It flows from the dwelling with God. Strength comes from God, not ourselves. This psalm kind of unravels this. And it says that life is a pilgrimage, not a destination. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, this pilgrimage that we're involved in. Faith grows through the journey, it says. God hears honest prayers. God is both your protector, God is your provider. God withholds no good thing from you and me. And God does not have favorites. One day with God outweighs 1,000 elsewhere. Humble service in the Church of Jesus Christ beats impressive status. Trusting God is the ultimate blessing. Psalm 74. How lovely is your dwelling place, Lord Almighty. My soul yearns, it even faints for the courts of the Lord. And my heart and my flesh, they cry out for the living God. Even a sparrow has found a home, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she might have a young, a place near your altar. Lord Almighty, you're my God. Blessed are those who dwell in your house, for they are ever praising you. And blessed are those whose strength is in you, whose hearts are set on a pilgrimage. As they pass through the valley of Baca, they make it a place of springs. The autumn rains also cover it with pools. They go from strength to strength till each appears before God in Zion. But hear my prayer, Lord God Almighty. Listen to me, God of Jacob. Look upon our shield, O God. Look with favor on your anointed one. For better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. And I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. For the Lord God is a sun, he's a shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold for those who walk is blameless. Lord Almighty, blessed is the one who trusts in you. Speaks for itself, doesn't it? Amazing. The Word of God just, with clarity, speaks for itself. Who needs a preacher? It's the 3rd of January, 2002. He was 87 years of age. He believed simply in this: the life that will not let me go, or the love that will not let me go. And this person, this man, taught me as a very young man something that I've never forgotten, and that the Bible teaches double security. What in the world is double security? And this man taught me that your name is written on the palm of the hand of Jesus. And he is committed to holding you in the palm of his hand. But that's only part of the story, because this Son, Jesus Christ, the living God, dwells in the palm of the hand of his Father, Almighty God. So my name, written in the palm of his hand, which is securely banked in the hand of Almighty God. And from a young man, this 97-year-old man now taught me that. He was educated, well educated. This man was enduring. This man was gentle. This man was hard working all his life. This man was a family man, and he was a faithful man. This man was my dad. I'm living here in Cheddar, pastoring a church in Weston-super-Mare. And I got a telephone call. It was New Year, a couple of days into January. Had a long celebration for Christmas and New Year in the church. I was tired. I got a phone call. It's from my brother. My brother said, Dad is dying. He's only got a day to live. Can you get in your car and get up here? I said, I sure can. And I jumped in the car 250 miles away. Boom. I was up to the north of England. While I'm driving to the north of England, I'm reminded that my dad's been in a nursing home for many, many years. He had a stroke one day in church and never recovered. And things just got more serious until my dad couldn't even move. He couldn't eat. And he's in a nursing home, now dying. The last time I saw my dad was with my daughter Dawn, who's driven me in this morning. And I remember Dad just supported in a chair, hardly anything moving at all. And my daughter went to him to say goodbye and stroked his face. And I just saw tears begin to flow down his cheeks. That's all he could do. And then he lifted his hand. And as he lifted his hand slowly, and his bony finger, he pointed to me, and he touched me right there, because I've got a birthmark there or something. And he went, as if to say, get that sorted, lad. That was the last time I saw him. I'm pulling now into the car park, driven like crazy for 250 miles. As I get out of my car, I see my brother standing outside of the nursing home. And I went to him and he said, Claude, you made it. He says, sorry to tell you that Dad has just died. You missed it. So I said, where's Dad? He says, I'll show you. He's in this little room. And I went into the room. And this is the point. As I went into the room alone, I sat by the side of my dad who died. And I held his hand, and it was warm. And I just talked to my dad a little bit. He wasn't there. And slowly, his arm got colder and colder and colder, but I still held on. This was my dad. Until he was cold. And then I thank God as I leant over him for a wonderful life with my dad. And I said goodbye to his body. As I said goodbye to his body, I stood up with arms raised. I thank God for this man who's everywhere, released, united with the Father. The journey was going to be a new journey. But the angels of God surrounded him. And at that very moment, he was going to go to a great celebration. Jesus is alive. My dad is alive. And I thought to my dad and this wonderful journey that he had. And I think today also of Sarah, whose father-in-law has just died as well. The difficulty of it and the grief of it. And I got to thinking, this journey is a long, long journey. And there's twists and turns, ups and downs, difficulties and joys. But it's a long, long journey. And the journey just don't seem to get easier the further we walk. Some days are good, some days are bad, some days I can see, some days I can't see. But we are called, every single one of us, as a great family of God, unitedly around the globe today, to go and be on the pilgrimage. When Jesus says, follow me, he didn't say where he's going to take you. He just said, follow me. This chosen family, this traveling family, this step-by-step family, where every move is accounted for. When I go walking on the Yorkshire Hills or the moors or the walls, be careful where you put your foot. Just don't be looking up at the stars and all the lovely trees and the sea in the background. Be careful where you place your foot. You're going to twist it. You're going to hurt it. Every step on this walk matters. Every moment of speech, every look, every care, every commitment, every promise of love and faithfulness matters. Because it's the journey. It's not everybody's journey, but it's our journey. It's the journey of the Church of Jesus Christ. We are walking this morning, today. Here we are, this family, in this stationing post along the Camino walk, along the pilgrim walk. We're just stationed here for a moment, for a place of refreshment. But we are joining with 2.5 million people around the globe. Believers of Jesus Christ on that same walk. Now, I don't know whether you've been to Street at Christmas. I have. Street's our nearest shopping place. So we go for a coffee to Street. And this Christmas, it's been manic. And I'll tell you why. Sue, take me home. Just get me out of here. People are coming in every direction. They're coming out of this car park, that there. They've got Welsh accents. They've got Scottish accents. They're from everywhere. And they're all walking in a different direction. I'm all right when we're all going in one direction. But when we go in different directions, I'm just bumping into everybody, particularly when I can't see who I'm bumping into. I've fallen over dogs, stood on little children. Everything's gone wrong. It's crackers. But in the family of God and in the pilgrimage that we're embarked upon, we are all walking in the same direction. Where's the confusion in that? We're in this, every one of us, from children to people as old as me, we're all in the same direction. And we are not a crowd. We're not just an aimless crowd. We're a people called by God into the family of God. We've been adopted into the family of God. And we're walking in the same direction. We are a company. A united company. A blessed company. A called company. A company with purpose. A company that marks our steps. I started my Christian journey when I was about 15, 16, can't remember. That's when I came to faith. And I've had a brilliant life. I'm an optimistic kind of person, and I love fun. And growing up, I was all fun. I just love fun, even though I become a Christian. I sat in a coffee bar yesterday with Sue, and we were moaning about something. And I said to Sue, I said, look at all these people around us. They're all laughing. Why are we, the Christians, moaning? And I enjoy laughter and fun. But at the same time, it's been tough and sometimes exhausting, sometimes painful, sometimes cold. Sometimes I've enjoyed the sun and other times it's rained. Sometimes I got lost on my journey and people who loved me brought me back and set me on the right path. Sometimes I got sick and they nursed me back to spiritual health. The church is God's hospital. Sometimes I fell over and I scrambled up, but other times somebody gave me a hand and lifted me up when I needed to. Sometimes I got blisters. I had to treat them myself. But the one thing on my journey, the age that I'm now, I have never been alone. We are not alone. These billions of people on this pilgrimage right around the globe, your brothers, your sisters, your family, they are not alone. My son, Richard, discovered the Camino Walk because he lived in France for a while. The Camino Walk is a walk through France and then through Spain to the very edge of Spain to a place called Thank you. No, I've never been. But he's walked it. It's not a short walk. It's not a stroll. It's not an afternoon. It's not walking to church on a Sunday and you can't take your car. It's a walk. It's 500 miles. It's a pilgrimage. It's called a pilgrimage. And the first time he went on this pilgrimage with a surfboard strapped to his back for some reason to promote his work working with Christian surfers, and it starts blowing the wind, and it's like a sail. And then it's raining, and he was contacting me on, whatever. And it was tough, and it was good. 500 miles. And one day he came to a place on the Camino with a pile of rocks. People had just put stones one on one another. It's like a mountain. And on top of it was a cross. And he decided he was going to go and look at the cross. And so he started to crawl up this. When all of a sudden something hit him. And he just broke down and he wept and wept and wept and wept. And he said, it so broke me, but it so cleansed me when I was going to the cross on this walk. Since then, most of my family have been on this Camino walk, 500-mile walk. Dawn's been on it. Did you take your husband on it?
No, it was great.
He's got some sense, hasn't he? He didn't go. You made your children go, didn't you?
Yeah, went the year back, second year with the kids, but we only did 90 miles.
90 miles. It's 500, Dawn.
Sorry.
So all our family essentially have been on the Camino. So I've not been on it, but I've watched it on YouTube. What's it like? And I've learned some lessons, and I'm going to quickly go through these lessons because I haven't got a lot of time, have I? Number one, everyone on the pilgrimage have got this in common. And I want to say that everyone on this pilgrimage that God has given us, which is the lifespan since we came to faith, it's our walk with Him, follow me. Everyone has chosen to do so. You don't go for a 500-mile walk through France and Spain if you don't choose to do it. You don't stumble into it. You don't think, I'll do a couple of yards and come back home. There ain't all the coffee bars to go to. You choose to do it. Paul chose to do it. Moses chose to do it. Abraham chose to do it. Right through the Bible, men and women of God chose to adopt this pilgrimage of walking with Jesus. Chose to do it. And what goes with chose to do it is don't turn back. You can think about it, but don't go back. If you go back, you'll get lost. You walk away from this pilgrimage, you'll be lost. It's not your terrain. You've got no leader. You've got no destination. Don't get lost. Don't go back. I've discovered that the best way through this life of rain and snow and anguish and joy and fun, difficulty, young age, middle age, old age, there's only one way to handle it. And that's get through it. You deal with this pilgrimage by deciding I'm going through to the very end. Another thing I've learned about pilgrimages, travel light. My grandson was invited to go on the pilgrimage, and he lives down in Bude, so yes, please. So the first thing he goes to North Face, the outlet shop, North Face, is it North Face? And got the biggest bag you can imagine. It cost him over £100, this big round bag, because it's fancy and red, and I'll have that. Packs it full, gets to the airport. You're not bringing that back through this airport. There he's in the airport, unraveling everything. I had to give his bag away. You can't take the luggage. I went over to Israel once, I've been a couple of times, and the owner of the travel thing called Line Travels, he was a Christian, and he travelled with us. And I'm there with my cases, never been there before, but you might need things, cases. And I meet him at the airport, and as I meet him at the airport, he's just got a little travel bag, just like keep your sandwiches in. And I'm there for 10 days. What is the matter? And so I'm talking to him, and saying, why have you, this is all you need. In there's a pair of underpants and this and that. That's all you need. Why do you need? What do you mean? What do you need? And I learned that if you're really going to enjoy it, travel light. And in this Christian world, I'm going to give you a tip. Travel light. It's the way to go through the pilgrimage. It says in the Bible, lay aside everything that would hinder you or entangle you, and fix your eyes on the prize, Jesus. That's what it says in Hebrews. So I've got to say goodbye to fear that belongs to the life that I had before I came to faith. I've got to say goodbye to bitternesses. I've got to say goodbye to hurts. I've got to say goodbye to insecurities. I've got to say goodbye to guilt. And I've got to say goodbye to distractions. Because that was on a different journey. I start the Camino. It's Camino, the pilgrimage. This is a new journey. Oh, and by the way, I've noticed this on the Camino. There ain't a queue of taxis to get you the 500 miles. Nor can you have an e-bike, really. I don't think you can bring your donkey either. The way you do it, there's a few that do it, but they're cheating. But the serious ones, how do they get from A to B? They walk. It's a walk. Church, this is a walk, and it's not a run. Speed is your enemy. We walk with Jesus. It says, Galatians, we walk by the Spirit. Call ourselves a Spirit-filled church? We walk with the Spirit. In Ephesians, we walk in a worthy manner, character. We're people of character. In 1 John it says this, walk in the same way as Jesus did. That's why we get to know Jesus. And along the way, you'll suffer sadness, grief, fragilities, old age, young age, tears, sickness, obstacles, disappointments. They'll come your way. That's the pilgrim way. But you walk through them. But you walk through them. There are no quick fixes. Do you know why we walk through them? Because every time we hit what could be the stumbling block, that's when we really begin to grow. When we're walking over the Pyrenees, the mountains, and it's snowing and it's looking ugly, that's when we grow in our determination, our character. When we see somebody else ill, sick, needy, we're alongside of them. They need our help. We're all on this journey together. We walk through, and we have this one thing in common. We walk through this pilgrimage together. You are not alone, because you are the royal priesthood. Why should you be alone? Why should God leave you alone? Your sons and daughters of the living God. Why should he ever leave you alone? And if I was drowning, this river that runs through, where are we, Yeovil, you catch me falling in and I'm drowning in that river. You'll notice I'm drowning because I've got my hands out, hoping for somebody to grab my hand and pull me out. I won't be bothered about my hair. I've had my hair cut, incidentally. I won't be bothered about my hair or anything else. Just grab my hand, grab my hand. My house was burning. I want you to come and grab my hand, pull me out, grab my hand. Hands say something. When I shake your hand, I'm not just being polite, an English gentleman. I'm shaking your hand saying, you are not alone. You have value. I'm your family. You're mine. And people need to see the hands of the church that bless. Need to see the hands of the church that rescue. Need to see the hands of the church that care. How did they do that? Through the pilgrims. We do it together. God says, for I am the Lord your God, who takes a hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will hold you. When I held my dad's hand, I'm saying, Dad, I love you. I couldn't say it any other way, but hold his hands. There's always someone on the Camino walk with you, the pilgrim walk. There's somebody ahead of you. There's somebody behind you. There's somebody at the side of you. There's always somebody else there. You're walking with this company. Be careful who you keep company with. They're okay. Because by the end of the Camino, you'll go around your lifelong friends that will stay with you. Because God has set the lonely, his term of lonely, the lonely in families, it says. He puts them, that's the reason for churches. He sets like-minded people together that lock together, look after one another, care for one another, as a message to the world. These people are my family. But we're walking in. When I was pastoring a church up in Cheltenham, they said, you'll come to this church and in 2 years it'll be a different congregation. I didn't believe them. I was there 2 years, it was a different congregation. Everybody moving jobs, GCHQ, and things, traveling, just moving. They go out, church fills up. They go out constantly. Because it's a pilgrim life, it's a pilgrimage. I'm no more a pilgrim in this church than I am driving home with my daughter driving me. Now, that's the worst thing that could happen. Because some say, no, brake. Lefty, right there. No, you need to be in this lane. It's the worst thing. But even that moment is a moment that I'm accountable for. Every step, every breath, every word, every manner is a pilgrim way. And you've got to get it right. And you'll take the wrong road. Well, that's okay. Because somebody's going to bring you back. Just expect it. Because you're a pilgrim. You want to turn back. And that's okay. You'll feel like that. I want to quit on this. This Christian life's tough for me. That's okay. You can think that. But somebody's going to come to your side. Because on the pilgrim way, the Camino way, you can't turn back. If you've got a need, somebody will talk about it with you. Everybody's job is to get the crowd to the destination. You're tired, you're feeling down, feeling depressed, it's okay. We're going to pick you up. Feeling hungry, we're going to feed you. Feel broken, we're going to help you put you back together. You're feeling lonely, that should never happen in the Church of Jesus Christ. That word lonely should not exist. Saw on the news the other day, over in Japan, there's no loneliness there because they've passed a law and they're funding people who visit lonely people. They're trying to eradicate loneliness. It was on the news. Amazing. We don't want loneliness in Japan. We don't want loneliness in the church. If you're lonely this morning, say you're lonely. It's our job to help you in your loneliness. Sooner or later, we're going to hit the destination together. Now, in my YouTube film of the Camino, everybody's traveling down. I mean, what was it last year? 240,000 people did the Camino walk on foot. 500 miles. And there are places to stop, and there are places for refreshments, and there are places to sleep, and there are priests along the way that help you. But then when you get to San Diego, San Antonio, wherever you get to at the end, you go into this big space, this cathedral space, and everybody just piles in, and they have a great time together. It's just phenomenal. The end of this journey is a celebration that my dad experienced when he went to heaven. Heaven is our destination. It's not just a brick cathedral. It's a great cathedral that God made for you and me. It's amazing. And there will be no pain. There will be no more tears. There will be no sadness. There'll be no more hunger. There'll be no regrets. No more thirst. No more disappointments. No more loneliness. What you will find in that celebration is joy. Limitless joy. Peace forever. Love. Love that is tangible. Presence. Purpose. In fact, that place is perfect. Why is that place perfect? Think of that word, perfect, because perfect people can only be in that perfect place. Who makes us perfect? Jesus. He has pleaded to God on your behalf. He will only see you as perfect. I went for my operation some weeks ago, and I sat there, had my operation, and I ain't got glasses or anything, so somebody said to me, I don't know who it was, the nurse will take your hand. So I stretched my hand out, and a nurse took hold of my hand, and she led me. And I'm like, what is this about? This is not me at all. And takes me to a door, and then she takes me, and Dawn appears and puts my hand in Dawn's hand. So Dawn leads me out towards the door to go out of the hospital, and as she does that, Dawn places my hand in my wife's hand. Now that's a rarity. That doesn't happen. The price of that's an operation. And she leads me to my car. I went to a conference once. There's a guy who was a Catholic guy from America. He was a priest called Francis McNutt. And he had an amazing ministry in healing. And I went to his conference for 3 days. And he sat up here. I'm rattling on a bit now, look. Just give me a minute. 5 minutes. Oh, time for another 20. Anyway, and so they sat on the platform, and he sat there and he's holding the hand of this lady next to him. We're singing, we're doing what we're doing, other people, and he just sat there holding her hand on the platform. And that was great. That was that day over, and he got up then and he taught on healing, divine healing, and that was great. Next day, next seminar, and he sat there holding her hand. I'm thinking, it must be his wife. And then on the third day, he's there again holding his hand. And then he said, you may be wondering why I'm holding that lady's hand. She's not my wife. This lady works with us, and she got cancer. And I'm laying hands upon her. And all of a sudden it clicked. It clicked. The power in laying on of hands. Not momentary, but tangibly, constantly, laying hands, laying on of hands. I'm going to read you this song and finish with it. Here's the psalm. Could you all stand while I read it? I think I've told you this before. When I went to America, I preached in America, and I read out the passage. Everybody stood, frightened me to death. I'd never seen it before. And I said to the pastor, what's the matter? He says, no, we do this when we read the Bible. I thought, what a lovely thing. Here is the psalm. Pilgrims. This is your psalm. I will lift up mine eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip, and he who watches over you will neither slumber or sleep. The Lord watches over you because the Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. And the Lord will watch over your coming, and he'll watch over your going, both now and forevermore. You're his pilgrims. You're on his journey. Let's embrace it and let's live it.